It really is of utmost importance that a woman learns her cycle. This learning of the cycle is not just so that you know when you're about to bleed or when you ovulate. It's actually so much deeper than that. It's so that you can access what you should be eating and when, what you should intuitively be tuning into, what's happening in your internal world, how you should respond to the external world depending on what's going on internally. There is a sort of sense of the world sometimes that we have to actually look outside and start to track what's going on and let the world dictate our flow. But when a woman starts to reclaim that flow and for herself, she will find that the world can actually respond to her current, and her capacity to lead her life really stems from that place of knowing what's going on inside. So there's a few different tools that I use when I'm accessing like how to track my cycle. One of them is the Clue app. I've used the Clue app, I've used Natural Cycles. My preference is actually Clue. It's very simple. I just go in there, I just click track today, and I put in the days that I'm bleeding. You're not actually going to get a sense of like what your cycle is and how your cycle works until you do about 6 months of this, because the cycle can be very irregular. It can be dependent on if you've had any kind of birth control in the past, what you're eating, whether you're traveling. There's many different things that actually can throw your cycle out. And although my cycles still get thrown out every now and then, what I'm actually tracking is there's a larger cycle that I'm actually starting to track now. Another way that I do this is a piece of paper, like a poster, old school calendar that the Magic of Eye make. I'm going to put all these links in the down below. But Magic of Eye, they have posters, and you can literally just see where the moon is at, where the constellations are at when you're bleeding. And I actually found this to be super useful to actually start tracking this with what's going on in the outer world. So if you're bleeding on the full moon versus bleeding on the new moon, for instance, they say like when you're a woman that's bleeding on the full moon, you're more in the outer world, you're looking to be very creative. Whereas when you're bleeding on the new moon, it's more of an internal, go inside time of your life. And actually mine will ping pong between both new moon and the full moon throughout the year, and I will trust that flow as it's happening. And if I have a longer cycle and I haven't been traveling, I haven't been stressed or anything, I'm actually just tracking, okay, so there's a deeper cycle that's going on now where I'm being drawn into a different creative cycle. So this is really essential as well. So like I was saying about when you eat. So when you're going into your cycle and you're going into your winter, like you're in that autumn phase. So you've got like autumn is the week before you go into winter, which is the week that you're bleeding. That autumn phase is when you might experience more PMS, you might experience more desire to eat carbs or red meat. And if you start to see these cravings come up during that time, it's actually a good time to actually follow those cravings. If you're starting to feel like, that you're wanting to eat lots and lots of carbs after you've bled, maybe you're actually just seeing that as a craving, as an emotional craving that maybe you haven't dealt with during your bleed. So this is another thing that comes up in that autumn phase, is like you actually are in the process of letting go of whatever's come up that month. So what we actually deem to be PMS, like I actually rebrand this into discernment week. So for me, discernment week is like, okay, what cannot stay? What am I needing to let go of when I bleed that cannot continue? Could be a relational dynamic, it could be a friendship, or it could be something in my business that I need to let go of. All of it needs to it actually becomes very apparent that week anyway. And so instead of getting pissed off or like expressing my emotions in that way, what I'll do is I'll just start to get really discerning. What needs to go? Where's my diet not actually performing in the way that I need it to? Where is my exercise routine not where am I not as motivated as I'd like to be? All of those things, letting go, so that when you come into your bleed, you start to get crystal clear clarity. And this is actually how I experienced my bleed. It isn't less, as I've got older and I've become more in tune with my cycle, I've had less and less pain, less and less PMS, because I'm starting to tune into the different energies that each cycle stage of the cycle offers me. And this is the same when we go into the spring. So the spring is the week after you've bled and you're about to go into the world, and you're coming out and you're just saying, right, I'm ready to go. And you're starting to track like, okay, this is a good time for like a juice cleanse or a water cleanse, anything that's actually building up. I would do a lot more intermittent fasting as I'm doing spring and into summer. Because as I get into summer, I actually might find that my body needs a lot more fuel again. When I'm ovulating, when I'm out in the world a lot, that's actually a time when I need maybe more of my meats, more of the more vegetables, like more capacity of food. I find I need less carbs at this time, but I might need strong proteins and good hit of vegetables. So these are some of the little insights that I've had with my cycle over this period of time of tracking it. I think I've been tracking for maybe 7 years now, and the major changes that it's had in my life is just my capacity to show up in the world and do what I need to do when I need to do it. I have a lot more clarity. I find that I'm actually moving with my energy and what's right for me versus moving with the outside world. I know I have clearer boundaries. There's no people pleasing. There's no like, oh, I should do this because this is what I should do. I'm just going into the reality of like, right, what's accurate for me? Where am I at in my life right now? And making a decision from that place. So hopefully this has been somewhat inspiring. I hope that you will take this on board and you start to track your own cycle. I'll drop the links below for you to start tracking those things. Thanks. Hope you, if you like this video, please subscribe.